Hello, I'm Ber-Henda with the Power of Girlhood, and I'm doing a workshop entitled In His Image. And today, to speak about image, I'm here with the lovely Asia Hamilton.
Oh, thank you.
Asia, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, no problem. I'm excited about being here today.
So you are a photographer by trade, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in your line of work, when you need the shot, how important is it for your subject to have great energy?
Oh my. Energy in a photograph is the number one thing that you need. You know, if somebody's spirit is low or if they're nervous, that nervous energy comes out on your photographs. So having great energy is a number one thing. And, I find myself, cracking jokes or, doing something silly or whatever to kind of limit that nervousness or to kind of bring their spirits up. So it's very important.
Good. So my other question to you then is, you work in an industry full of beautiful people, and there are certain standards set to what that beauty is. When you're working with a subject, and let's say they do fit those standards, is there still something that may be missing, even though on the exterior you can't pull out what you need?
Something missing. I think that the main thing would be missing is your natural beauty. That's so important to have your natural beauty come out. It's always those candids, those in-between moments when you get the best shots, because people are being their self and they are relaxed, and it's who they are that comes off across the photographs. Now, mainly, of course, in commercial or fashion or in that type of industry, they're gonna want specific looks, but those in-between candid shots, that natural beauty that comes through is, male or female, is, I'd say very important and really gets the shot. Don't you ask me?
That's
Just making sure.
That's so funny. How have you seen fashion evolve over the years?
Oh, wow. Fashion, pretty much it goes and it comes, it's evolved a little bit, but I really think that, like nothing is new under the sun. So stuff just recycles itself over and over again, and it might be, a flare of color or just a little bit more, mystery to it or something like that to make things pop. But, fashion is it keeps coming and going and recycling itself. So fashion is, okay.
It's okay. And I want to round this out here. So when we see shows like America's Next Top Model, and we have different competitions, the girls see on TV, and so it's like, okay, you have Kim Kardashian, that's one standard, you got Halle Berry, that's another standard, and so on and so forth. How much of it is real and how much of it is manufactured?
Oh my gosh. I would say, let's see, I would say 70% of it is real, and it's false. 70% of it is false, and then 30% of it is the actual person. It's really like, it's so much airbrushing involved and so much makeup is involved. I worked with a makeup artist when I was living in Dallas, and she showed me this spray that she showed me the spray that she sprayed on the legs to remove all of the marks and stuff. And I'm like, I'm like, and it was like a spray on tan or something like that. And that was, I know that's really small, but I was like, wow, I didn't, think that you would put extra makeup on. I'm already going to go on Photoshop and, take out marks and everything like that. But, just everything, from the marks on your legs to the marks on your face to bringing your waistline in, the people look completely different, you know, in person than they do on those photographs and in movies and things like that. And you could even airbrush in movies and stuff like that.
So, if you could look at our camera, what would you tell your daughter or your niece or your little person, little fem energy that came to you with, oh, I don't like this about myself, or oh, I'm too fat, or oh, I'm too this, and such doesn't like me? What advice would you give her?
This is the advice that I would give you. Be the best person that you can be. You know, it's so easy to aspire to be like, you know, Kim Kardashian, or, you know, you want a body like hers, or you want to, you know, you want to have skin like Beyonce, or legs like Beyonce, because I know every now and then I'm like, girl, when Beyonce legs. But, you know, be the best person that you are, because everybody is, you know, they are a product of God, and you are a beautiful person. And if you perfect yourself, you can be your own Beyonce or your own Kim Kardashian. You will be your own brand. So I encourage you to just be inspired and encouraged about who you are and be the best that you can be.
Asia Hamilton, thank you so much for being
with us.
No problem. Love you. And
thank you for having me.
Check Asia Hamilton out. She is on Facebook, and she is also online at www.nizomilive.com. Thank you for joining us in the Power of Girlhood. Hello, I'm Ber-Henda, and I'm here with the lovely Sabrina Nelson. Sabrina, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, wonderful. So, Sabrina, you are
I am an artist and a dotastic parent and an activist visually, and also a college representative to recruit students who are interested in art and design in Detroit.
So, you are known for your exuberant personality and personal style. When did you develop your own sense of awareness and self?
Ooh, I don't think there was ever a time that I wasn't aware of my selfness. I can remember being a small person and people kind of teasing me, going, "You don't wear that? What's wrong with you?" And wearing, you know, mixing the patterns. Somebody would have on, you know, certain things, and I'd have on like stripes and polka dots. So I've always had my own style that wasn't always in. And my siblings would always laugh, you know, but now it's sort of like, they're like, you can do that. But I think you get a pass when you're a creative person. People generally don't criticize you out loud anyway.
Okay.
And those people in your circle kind of compliment you because we're typically freer and typically liberal with the way that we dress. But, you know, in the normal world, it's or corporate world, they're like, "Wow, you're brave. You can do that." So I think I became more aware that my style was, I guess, was a style, as opposed to me being just stubborn and just wearing what I wanted to wear. But I decided that I think it was nice when people started complimenting and saying, "Wow, I like that." Probably when I got to college. You know, in high school it wasn't, I was always different, but it wasn't a style, it was just me being different. And then as I got older and stopped caring and stopped paying attention to what other people were wearing, I never wore name brand things. You know, when Gloria Vanderbilt was out, like I wouldn't put them on because first of all I couldn't afford them, but they just didn't look right on me. Okay. It didn't feel right on me, putting others' names on me like that. So. But my sisters wore it. They look good in it too.
They look good in it.
They look good in it. I had to kind of establish my own thing. But probably by the time I was a good, I would say like 25, 22, between 22 and 25, that's when I realized, okay, I don't have to wear what they're wearing. I just should wear what makes me feel good. And it kind of made me, once I felt good, then I realized I looked good.
So speaking of feeling good, and then that translates into then looking good, what would you say to a middle school girl or a high school girl who, you know, knows what she likes but maybe is a little timid or afraid about what other people may say or think about her exerting her personal style?
always who you are. And I think when you're in middle school, that's the time when, especially around 12, is when you start establishing your group, you know, and you start kind of mimicking each other. When you're in middle school, everybody wants to wear the same thing. You have twin day, you know, you have that best friend and you're like, what you gonna wear today? You call before you go to school, you wear the same shirts, you know, everybody has on the same t-shirts. But I think it's a time when you want to be accepted. It's an also awkward time for girls because they're going through the body change and they're like these puppies, you know, they're trying to get used to all these parts.
Okay.
And they're clumsy with it too, so you're not trying to pull too much attention to yourself.
Okay.
But I think it starts at home. If they are given the security and love and understand who they are and whose they are, then I think they can be comfortable in anything. You know kids who are loved.
Absolutely.
You know, but I always say that hurt people hurt people. So the kids that typically tease other kids are children that are going through things themselves. So I think if girls have difficulty trying to find the identity of who they are and their style, it's usually something else that's going on. So maybe it needs to start in a deeper way.
Okay.
You know, just kind of learning how to meditate and learning how to just be okay with who you are, because sometimes you can't change that. And no matter what you put on, even if you're in style, if you're not comfortable with who you are in the heart first, it doesn't matter how you dress it. So you kind of have to find that balance emotionally before you can really get into the physical dress.
Awesome.
And I don't know how to translate that to a 12-year-old, but I work on making sure that my 11-year-old is balanced emotionally. So no matter how she looks, and they're going to have to go through that transition anyway.
All right.
She'll be okay. But I have to make sure that she knows that she's loved and that she's in a community where no matter what she puts on, we're going to be like, all right, baby, do it. You better do it good.
Well, I love that you said love and community, and with the power of girlhood, we're seeking to establish love and community. And you also talked about parenting and where a child receives love. And unfortunately, in the home, homes are not always that loving place. What can a girl do for herself to receive the love that she's seeking that maybe she can't find in the home?
Okay, I think sometimes journaling, meditation, for some people it's prayer, just being still for a moment every day and just taking out that 5 or 10 minute moment to say thank you for just being, you know, whatever that is for you, whatever communication to that higher power, you need to find that, you know, and know that there's something greater than you. And even if you can't get it in a parental way, if it's not happening in the home, there's somebody that you look to, especially at 12 years old, 12, 13, between 11 and 14, there's usually somebody that you start looking at and you're like, wow, they're really a beautiful person, and I want to be like them. And so sometimes finding that mentor, whether it's in a church or somebody at the school, and then trying to align yourself with that person and saying, you know, I really respect who you are and what you do, and is there any time that we can spend with each other, even if it's just going to the bookstore? Not that kids go to the bookstore anymore.
Right.
I'm just saying. You have libraries, they have cafes, but just trying to spend that time with somebody that you look to as an advisor or somebody who can mentor you. And maybe even asking, do you mind mentoring me? Because I need that. And there's such things as big sisters.
That's right.
You know, so you
I have big sisters.
right, you need to kind of find it. And I had one too growing up. Somebody who was really, really a beautiful person. She ended up marrying my uncle. But she taught me everything about being kind, everything about being gracious and having grace. You know, I mean, there are schools that people go to that are finishing schools. Of course, we can afford that, but I mean, she taught me things about being a young lady. You know, like every time somebody gives you a compliment, it doesn't mean that they deserve, you know, your whole self. But being graceful and saying thank you and just moving on. You know, because sometimes people compliment you for different reasons.
Right.
And when you're between those ages, you have to be very careful with that, because you're developing here almost a lot quicker than you're developing here, and you have to kind of sift through a lot of the things and be able to filter that. And sometimes mentors can help you a lot quicker than you can.
I think that is wonderful advice that you just gave in terms of the navigation in that very pivotal time in a girl's life. But also speak to us, if you could, about passion and purpose. You know, art is your passion.
Yes.
You love it. And it gives you also, too, that additional sense of purpose. When did you come into that awareness that, you know what, art is life for you?
Here's the thing with me. I've always been an artist. I don't ever remember a time when I wasn't creating something. As a little girl, I was making clothes for my dolls. But I was drawing the dolls first, you know. So I would draw the paper doll, and then I would make the, you know, the little clips and put it on there, and I would design the little outfits. So for me, the passion of creativity was always there. My purpose, I didn't know what it was to be an artist. People would always ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say to them, I'm already an artist. Here's some things I don't want to be. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a secretary. I want to be a good person. I want to be a good mother. And I want to keep doing the things that make me happy. And I guess that was art. So that was my passion. But for purpose, I didn't know you had to be an artist, like as a profession. I didn't know that was a profession. I just knew it was something that I was. My purpose is to make things more beautiful. You know, whether it's just putting myself in the space, or taking the space and transforming it, or doing it on paper or canvas. And I tell people every day that I am my first canvas. I am my first painting. You know, so I paint me first, I draw me first, and then I take it out in the world. And I try and create more beauty wherever I am. So that could be my passion too, whether it's, you know, creating more peace in that space, or more beauty in that space, or trying to heal things from the inside outwards. You know, for me it's Detroit, you know, creating more beauty in this city that I live in. And whether that's mentoring kids, or not just recruiting them, but mentoring them. Here's how to be a professional artist, and here's what you can do with that in your community, you know. And then also presentation for me. It's always important to, I'm not just representing myself, I represent my family. I've been taught that, you know, don't go out there and make no fool, because you know. And my family's from Alabama, so when you walked out the door, you know, everybody knew whose you were and who you represent. So everything that I do, I don't just do it for myself, but it's for my tribe, it's for my family. And if that's my blood family, or my family that's here in this city. When I leave Detroit, I'm always Detroit, you know. But when I leave, you know, my family, my birth family, I always represent that family. So I try and represent them in the best light possible. I don't think most kids do that anymore. They don't think of themselves as a collective family, you know, or that they represent their families. When I'm passing schools and I hear girls talk in certain ways, and I'm like, who is your mama? And why did she tell you? You know, it's like certain things that we knew when we grew up. You don't walk out the house with rollers in your hair, or if you know, like if women smoke, you don't smoke just walking down the street. You know, it's just certain things that, I don't know if there were folkways, mores, you know, just things that you just shouldn't do. You know, like cussing out loud in front of adults. We learned that not to do that.
Right.
But when I pass a lot of middle school kids, girls are very aggressive, and they're saying things, and I'm like, wow. Like when I grew up in the 70s, you just don't say that around other grown people, because Miss May knows your grandmother, and she gonna call, and then Miss May, your neighbor, is gonna get you, and then your grandma gonna get you when you get home, then your mama gonna get you when you get home. So there's certain things that I think have changed in the neighborhood. There's certain etiquettes that girls don't have anymore, and I wish they had them.
And so what would you say to that girl that you just walked past in the hallway, and she just said something that you know, if her grandmother heard it, Granny would make her go out there and get a switch?
Grannies don't have switches no more. I don't know. You just have to. I just look at a lot of young girls, and when I'm at my daughter's school, which is they go from pre-kindergarten all the way to the 8th grade. When I'm holding the door and I hear a girl say something, I'll look at them and I'll say, you know, that's not cool. I mean, it's just not cool. And I'm standing here, I exist. So act like I'm in your family. I don't say, because you know the first thing, you're not my mama, you know, but I say just act like I'm in your family. And act as if your family member is holding this door. And would you want somebody to sound like this in front of your family? And so I kind of put it in their shoes and in their hands to decide what their next move will be. And then I let them know I'm going to be here every day. And I'm going to see who drops you off. And occasionally I'm going to wave at them and say, hey, how you doing? As a matter of fact, let me come talk to you. Because this pretty little girl right here, you know, some of the things that come out of her mouth, they don't look like she looks in the face. So I just want to share that with you. And I still kind of parent other people's kids. Although, you know, you shouldn't nowadays because some people, but I just can't stop because that's how I was raised. So I have to be able to kind of connect with them on an empathetic way. So act like you were in my shoes. What would you say? So it's kind of like that. You can't be like, girl, you better, if you say it one more time. Sometimes I do that. Like sometimes, but, you know, I'll be like, I'm going to punch you in the throat. Thoak. I'm going to punch you in the throat if I hear you cuss one more time. I mean, and sometimes I just get like that. You know, but most cases I'll try and
you got to get in
punch you in. And I shrivel up my lips a little bit because some of them, they just don't care.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go there.
I go. And
Yeah.
It's
all right. Yeah.
I'm like 140 years old. I don't care. If I were younger and more afraid, I probably would. But I'm sometimes just a little too free with my thoughts, and I say what I'm thinking, especially in a young group. I'll just say it, and I think the kids respect that a little more than being afraid and timid, and they might think you're a little more crazy.
And crazy is beautiful, and I think that is the power of girlhood. Sabrina, thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.